So, what are the basics of starting over, reinventing without burning it all down to the ground? Now, I have some notes with me, so I'm going to look down so I keep on track here. The first one is I think we need to acknowledge that there's always going to be a level of fear and uncertainty. It doesn't have to be debilitating fear, but there's always going to be a little bit of fear and uncertainty around starting over. You're doing something new, right? You're going to be embarking on a new journey. So I think the key is we're not blowing everything up here, but we are going to be very intentional about moving forward and starting new things and growth. So where do you start? Here's what I believe we need to do. We need to really take stock of where we are. In essence, what are the raw materials that you're working with? Where are you now? What are you working with now? What might you want to do? And I say might because I think it's going to be a very experimental process, but we need to take stock of where we are. And it's not like you're starting from a blank page. You obviously have, if you're a woman over 50 or somebody over 50, you have a lot of life experience behind you, right? But we need to know, who am I now? What's important to me now? What do I believe now? And what might I want, right? I do this, I've done this by literally inventorying myself in bulleted list. What do I know how to do? What do I like doing? What are lessons learned? What about my environment? And just do a bulleted list, write it down. And then what I love to do is I love to use AI. Put it in ChatGPT and say, well, what do you see here? What do you see here, right? Put your list, your inventory in AI. What do you see? When I've done this, it's come back with interesting categories and patterns that it's recognized that I maybe didn't recognize myself. And then I use it to kind of do some mashup exercises, like what could this look like? What might this be? Is there anything here that I'm not seeing or paying attention to? So lean into AI. It's incredibly helpful. And then I think we need to know that next is growth is only going to happen with decisions and action. If you want to start over, if you're starting over, being forced to start over, starting something new, two things have to happen, right? Make a decision, take action. I think what's really important to understand, there's a little bit of a truth bomb here. Certainty does not exist. Perfect decisions do not exist. You're going to have to get used to making decisions that may not work out 100% how you anticipate. I always say you have to give yourself permission to make potentially bad decisions. Now, there's always a risk involved. So, we have to mitigate those risks, right? But here's the deal. Doing nothing, making no decision is absolutely a decision, and it means nothing changes. You are where you are. So there needs to be a mindset shift that you are going to give yourself permission to make potentially bad decisions and then pivot if you make a decision, get there, and it turns out not to be the right move. How do you do this without upending your whole life or, risking the farm, so to speak? I like to take everything in what I call micro moves, micro decisions, micro actions, micro exercises, micro activities. This gives us a couple things. This gives us the ability to try many things because they're micro. So you get to try many things on for size, many decisions, many activities. And so you get to try more. So you'll get to experience more, explore more. At the same time, if whatever it is you're trying or exploring doesn't work out, it's micro. So it's not the end of the world. You haven't done anything that's, irreversible and life-changing, right? So we're going to go in micro moves, micro actions. What this does, again, lets you experiment more with less risk. And what this looks like is, let's say there is something big you want to do, right? Let's say there is like something really big you want to do. I want to sell all my belongings and move across the world and retire abroad. Big move, big move. Hard to undo, very expensive to undo. Could that mean where you start by allocating a couple hours a week to researching, going into YouTube channels or on social media and really studying people who have done this already and what it really looks like? Maybe you're moving beyond that. Could you go to the place you're thinking about moving to for a month or 2 months? Try it out before you make the big move. So that's what I'm saying. Kind of micro step it back and inch your way forward. What this does, it helps you, it's going to help you get clear on what it is you do want. You get to try more things. Certain things will stick, other things won't. So you start finding your way, and you're not destroying anything that's undoable, right? I think what's interesting too is when you do this, you start building your muscle, your decision-making muscle, which really means you're kind of building your comfort level around risk, and you get more used to it so you can take bigger risks, not huge risks, but bigger risks, which is also going to allow you to do more. I think another thing to keep in mind is we need to manage expectations. This whole idea of giving yourself permission to make potentially bad decisions is important. Even if a decision looks 100% right on paper and everything, you could make the decision, go do the thing, and get there and be like, ooh, this really wasn't what I thought it was going to be, or whatever. So manage expectations and just realize not everything is going to work out 100%, and that's okay. That's okay. The next thing will, or the next thing will. So we have to give ourselves kind of that space. We need to keep our mindset very experimental, kind of along these same lines. It is going to be experimental. You are reinventing, you're starting over, you're building something new. It's going to be experimental, right? Because you know what you have inside your bubble. Anything that you want to do that's new is outside of your bubble. It's going to be experimental. You just don't know. You just don't know yet, right? So keep that experimental mindset. I think we've got to kind of along that lines of what's in your comfort zone. You know what's in your bubble. You know what is in your comfort zone. We have to let our imagination run wild. We have to look outside of our bubble. We need to open up our mind to new possibilities and open to trying new things. They might not be for you, but hey, let's see what happens, right? So we got to get out of the bubble. You've got to let yourself be a beginner again. Let's say it's an action that's going to require a little bit of skill building that you want to do. You're not going to be great at the thing from the beginning. It's okay. Be a beginner. It's okay. Be a beginner. Let yourself be a beginner. Let yourself be a little cringy. Let yourself be a beginner. That is how it works, right? And that's where the new growth and possibilities are going to come from. So in essence, we need to take stock of where you are now. What are you working with? Where are you starting from? What might you want to do? Make decisions and take action. Start with micro decisions, micro actions, micro exercises, so you mitigate the risk while you're getting more comfortable with the risk and trying bigger and bigger decisions. And you're going to build that muscle a bit. Manage expectations. Not everything that you try is going to work out or be what you hoped for. It's just not. So the more things we can try, the sooner you're going to get to the place where you're like, yeah, this is it. I love this, or whatever it happens to be. But don't think that, one thing that doesn't work out means failure. It just means you are trying and doing, and you're going to keep going with it, right? Stay open to possibilities. This is the biggest one. You know what's in your bubble. You know where you are now. And the reason you're considering starting over or reinventing, maybe you have to for circumstance, but maybe you just want something new. It's going to be outside of your current bubble. You already know what's in your bubble. It's going to be outside of your bubble. So let your imagination go and give yourself the space for new possibilities, right? And that's what we're doing. I am building a community because I am starting over. I am building a new life. I call it in public. And I know it's easier when we do it in community. So I am pulling together what I am calling the Third Act Lab community. Lab because it's going to be experimental. It's going to be a laboratory. But it's going to be an interesting and really supportive community of women also starting over or embarking on new and building this third act. We're going to do it together. If you would like more information, there's a link below where you can get some. So thanks for joining me today. Cheers.